Do you guys want to hear a story about a guy that I went on a date with who watched every single one of my TikToks and basically learned my entire life and all my interests and then used it in conversation to make it seem like we were super compatible and then just asked me to help him with his TikTok page? Do you guys want to hear that story? It just happened this morning. And I was debating on posting this because I know that he's going to fucking watch it because you're a fucking creep. But I decided that I'm going to do it because if you want to make content, I'm going to make content out of you. So basically, what happened is I met this man like a month ago on a dating app, okay? The conversation was fine and then it died down very fast. That happens on dating apps, so I didn't really think anything of it. A few weeks passed by and all of a sudden he's sending me like multiple messages a day. And it's nothing crazy. Like at first it's like, "Oh, how's your day? Oh, like you're really pretty. Oh, I'd love to take you out." Like that kind of stuff. And I said, "You know what? I really appreciate the effort and that he's like coming back to message me. So let me take him up on the offer." So I said, "Sure, why don't we get breakfast this morning or brunch or something?" And immediately he's like, "Perfect." And he texted me last night to confirm and he says to me, "Hey, I'm all down for like meeting you tomorrow, but I just wanted you to know that I just started fasting and working out, so I can't have a big meal." Mind you, I just posted that I just started my weight loss journey like 2.5 weeks ago. I've lost 11 pounds and I'm fasting. Okay. I just posted about that. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like literally twins. Like, that's so cool. We're both doing that. And so I'm like, okay, let's meet at this place and we can just get like something super small, something healthy. And he's like, perfect. Cool. We meet up for the day and I showed up super early. I think it was like 7 a.m. this morning because I was already up and he was there too. And we get our drinks and we sit down and immediately I'm like, okay, I'm like, so I know we've already like kind of told each other about ourselves like through, messages and stuff. I'm like, what are you looking for in a person? And immediately he's like telling me about myself. He's like, I would really like a hardworking woman. He's like, I don't really care if like she has kids. If you don't know, I have a son, I have a teenager. He's like, I would love someone that takes care of others. I'm a nurse. And just literally starts telling me about myself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so crazy. I haven't clocked it yet, okay? Because I'm stupid. Haven't clocked it yet. I'm literally thinking this is organic and that we're compatible and this is amazing. And then we start talking about other non-serious things. And I ask him, I say, what are your favorite TV shows? And he says, Grey's Anatomy, which I post about all the time. And then he says every single anime that I've ever talked about on my page. And so that's when I was like, maybe, I'm like, this is kind of weird, okay? Okay, also, he would not stop talking about Chainsaw Man, which I fucking love. And so I'm like, I'm gonna catch this piece of shit in a lie. So I said, oh, like, who's your favorite character? And he literally goes, Chainsaw Man, like, obviously. And he goes, who's yours? And I said, oh, mine's Brody. And he goes, that's literally my dog. That's my sister's dog. Brody is not a character in Chainsaw Man. And he literally immediately is like, oh yeah, like he's so sick. Like this, I actually wanted to bash my head into the fucking table. You're insane. Then we start talking about travel. And I ask him, I say, where's somewhere that you've always wanted to go to? And he says, I've always wanted to go to New York City. I just posted that I went to New York City 2.5 weeks ago. And then this next part is when I knew, and my stomach honestly started hurting because I just felt so uneasy and like violated. I don't even know if that's the right word. But he says, my dream is to go to the New York Public Library and just sit there and read. He's like, I've always thought about it and I feel like it would just change my life. I literally made an entire video talking about how that was my dream and how I got to live it and how I was so happy. And that's when I clocked it. And I don't even know, again, I don't know if the word violated is the right word because I know that content is public. I know that social media is for everyone. Anyone can consume it. That's why people say, be careful what you post on the internet. But I never in my life thought that my content would be used the way that it's being used in this situation, if that makes sense. And it just felt so gross and wrong. And so that's when, again, I clocked it and I honestly started getting mad. And he was deep in, like, he is talking about like nursing and psych and working remote, literally every single thing about myself, you guys. And so finally I I said, what do you think about social media? And he says, oh, like, what about it? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, do you like TikTok? Do you like Instagram? Like, what do you like? And he goes, oh, he's like, of course. Like, I scroll on TikTok all the time. I like Instagram, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, what kind of content do you watch? And so he's telling me that he likes to watch like TikToks about how to be a content creator, this, and that. And I'm so pissed off at this point that I'm like, oh, do you watch this creator? And I said my username. And I could tell he like kind of got uncomfortable and like did a double take. And he goes, yeah, he's like, I actually do think, now that you mention it, that your TikToks have like crossed my For You page once or twice, which makes sense because if you have my phone number, like, how it says like from your contacts or whatever. So I asked him, I said, is that why like you were persistent and asked me out? Because we had matched a month before that and it was crickets. And then now all of a sudden you were sending me messages every single day trying to meet up with me. And he literally goes, I'm not even shitting you guys. He goes, I'm going to be honest. He's like, I really want to be a content creator. I'm sick of my job. And I feel like we both have things that the other person wants. And I feel like we can help each other. And I'm like, oh, is that so? So I'm going to help you do content creation. You guys, mind you, this is fucking insane. I don't even have 1 million followers, okay? I literally am a girl that just posts because I'm bored and I have a phone. I have a full-time job. I made it very clear on this page that I am not posting to be a content creator. I am posting because it's fun, okay? And so I'm like, okay, so apparently we're gonna date. I'm gonna help you do content creation, help you with your page. What are you gonna do for me? Like, I'm really confused on what you think it is that I need from you. And he goes, which again makes me sick to my stomach because I literally just posted a video like a day or two ago talking about how like the only thing that I want from a relationship is companionship. And he literally says that to me. He's like, oh, well, like, a partner in crime. He's like, someone to do life with, which is this actual fucking phrase that I literally said in that video. And I actually felt like I wanted to throw up. Like, I just felt so gross and uneasy. That's like the only way I can put it. I felt like I woke up in the middle of the night in the middle of a nightmare and I was in like a pitch black room. That's how I felt. And I just told him, I was like, you know what? I'm like, this was like super inappropriate. You're fucking creepy. I grabbed my phone off the table and I left and I immediately blocked him. And now I'm like overthinking everything. I'm like, anyone can see my TikToks, anyone can claim to know anything about me, and then not really use it against me, but they can use it to their benefit. You know what I mean? And that's honestly really, really scary.